daughter. She also frequents the old cemetery on the military base. Locals say if you catch sight of Alice, quickly put your ear to the earth and you will hear the baby girl crying for her mother. Part 1. Glory Solomon. A pirate hand-fasting menu. Roast tom turkey, apple, date, and onion stuffing, mashed Yukon Gold potatoes, peasant bread, crudités, Macintosh apples, California navel oranges, mead, grog, lemon bumble, pirate ship devil's food wedding cake. Chapter 1. Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 27th, 2003. 1 year ago to the day, Glory Solomon had spent hours cooking the traditional Thanksgiving dinner for her husband Dan, turkey with breadcrumb stuffing, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes and gravy, and Dan's favorite, the yam casserole with the miniature marshmallow topping she always managed to scorch. Why he liked it she never understood. Her pumpkin pie was a work of art, with a homemade crust so flaky it rivaled her grandmother's. But for Dan, it didn't get any better than blackened yams. Glory had set the table with the china Dan's mother had left them, Franciscan desert rose. She ironed and folded linen napkins. She whipped heavy cream to tall peaks. While Dan said grace, she took a slug of wine because religion made her nervous. They feasted and laughed, and when they could move again, they took the horses out for a long ride on their oak-filled property that was 10 minutes as the crow flies from the Mission San Antonio de Padua. After that, Glory called her mother and Salinas to wish her a happy holiday, and they both said how much they missed Daddy, gone 22 years now. Glory and her sister Hallie had been teenagers when he died. Next, Glory called Hallie and interrupted her appletini party because she could never get Hallie's schedule right. This year, Glory was roasting 3 25-pound turkeys, mashing 30 pounds of potatoes, baking a dozen loaves of baguette bread, and heaping local apples and oranges in bushel baskets borrowed from her friend Lorna, who ran the Butterfly Creek General Store. Not a yam in sight. If Dan were still alive, Glory would gladly have made yams the main course, paid attention to his grace, put her wine glass down, and waited for him to say amen. This Thanksgiving, she made gallons of mead, honey wine, lemon bumble, vodka heavy on the lemons to prevent scurvy, and grog, which is basically a bucket of rum with fruit thrown in. These 3 beverages are what pirates drink, and drink is what pirates do, on any occasion. And who can blame them, the high seas being filled with mortal danger every single second? The dinner she was cooking was for the Thanksgiving hand-fasting ceremony of Captain General Angus McMahon and his wench-to-be, Admiral Karen Brown. Those two and their 58 guests were weekend reenactment pirates who'd been turned away by every church they tried to book for their ceremony. Angus had come to Glory seeking permission to hold the wedding in the chapel Dan had built on their land last September. What would Dan have thought of her holding a wedding there? What was Glory thinking that she could cater and pull off a wedding on a national holiday? Money. Angus had spotted the chapel while visiting the tree known as Solomon's Oak. It wasn't in the AAA guidebook, but word gets around when a white oak that isn't supposed to exist in the Central Coast Valley climate grows to be more than 100 feet tall. The tree had stood there for 3 generations of the Solomon family, and who knew how long before that? The oak set the Solomons' property apart from that of the other ranchers, who grew strawberries, grapes, pecan trees, distilled flavored vinegar, raised hens, or ran a few head of cattle, made gourmet goat cheese to sell at the farmer's market, whatever they could do to squeak by and keep hold of their land. Arborists bussed field trippers to the tree. Horticulture professors from UC Santa Cruz gave lectures beneath its branches. Young men seeking a romantic setting to propose to their girlfriends could not go wrong under the shady oak. In sunny weather, plein-air painters descended with field easels. If the moon was full or there were some pagan holiday, say Bridget or Beltane, a flock of druids would show up, sometimes in clothing, other times without. The Solomons tolerated people on their property because they recognized the tree was special. Most oak trees die before they hit 100 years of age.